Welcome, everybody, to Straight Shooter Wrestling Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Santi, here with my co-host, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Not too bad, Santi. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I'm tired right now. We're recording the podcast a little bit later in the night than we usually do, but we've actually got some pretty fantastic, interesting news going on in the world of professional wrestling. Unlike last week, where we honestly had to pull out an episode out of our asses.
Yeah, and I think it stood for itself on how it all went, but I am excited to talk about two massive pieces of news coming out within the last 48 hours in the full wrestling industry. We're not even talking WWE. We're talking like it's ginormous. So why don't you lead it off with the announcement out of AEW?
Yeah, but before that, a little bit of housekeeping. We're closing in on 200,000 over on the TikTok. So if you haven't found us on TikTok, head on over there. Consider following us here on YouTube by subscribing to the channel. We're on our way to nearly 1,000 subscribers. And of course, our giveaway of the United States belt that is back there to get an opportunity to win that. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and engaging with all of the podcasts that are uploaded all the way up until WrestleMania. But Steve, we have honestly three topics that are worthy of topic of the show. We have the story of Cody Rhodes. We have the potential return of the most legendary, iconic superstar in the business, in the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then, of course, we have a pretty solid Elimination Chamber match card. But let's talk with the news that's dominated the landscape of professional wrestling over the last couple of days. And that is the news coming out of AEW. And the news is that not only has Cody Rhodes left AEW, but he had a 1-year renewal clause that Tony Khan could have exercised that he chose not to. So not only is Cody leaving, but Tony Khan is actively letting him leave. And that is going to change the landscape of professional wrestling here over the next couple months, especially leading into WrestleMania, with Brandy Rhodes and Cody Rhodes now officially being free agents and able to appear as early as today on any professional wrestling show across the planet. And every news outlet is reporting that it's not a matter of if he's going to WWE, it's a matter of when he's appearing on WWE television. What do you think?
Yeah, it's actually funny. I think Cody Rhodes is going to show up on Raw before Veer does at this point.
For real.
No, honestly, mind-blowing news coming out of AEW. Everything that I've read so far is that Cody Rhodes, obviously being one of the pillars coming up to his free agency, being one of the pillars of AEW coming up to his free agency, wanted an astronomical amount of more money. But he wasn't willing to do the work, and he was not willing to go heel, even though Cody Rhodes is a much better heel than he is a face. But the news is he did not want to become a heel because of all the charitable work that him and his wife Brandy do outside of AEW. And it really goes back to the whole John Cena situation about why he never wanted to go heel. He didn't want to be a heel on TV and then a face for, charitable donations and sick kids hospitals and that kind of thing. So it's kind of a weird concept because Cody does his better work as a heel. So I really find that interesting. The fact that Tony Khan is just letting him walk with no, like we see all the time out of WWE, no 90-day compete, no renewal for a 1 year, nothing. It's just like, hey, see ya. And everything that he's done basically helping build that company. I think that this is going to be either massive for WWE, because I think this will be the biggest pop in Cody's life if he walks out and, I don't know, does he go right into a title match with Roman, or do they put him on Raw for the world title? Like, what do you think?
I don't think that anywhere that he shows up on the card is gonna draw money. I almost would rather him not go for a title. if anything, I think Cody Rhodes would be awesome to help elevate a lot of like that fringe talent that just needs to put in like an awesome night's match, like an awesome night match of the night type of performance, and I think Cody Rhodes could help elevate those studs. But that being said, okay, so before we jump into like the possibilities of what we could see with Cody Rhodes in WWE, I remember last week when we were talking about how I felt that AEW needed more TV time because they just now have too much talent. My understanding is part of the reason that Tony Khan allowed Cody Rhodes to just walk and did not exercise his 1-year clause, which he could have because he exercised it on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, because all 4 of those guys, those executive vice presidents, had the same contract, and only Cody was allowed to walk away without having that final 4th year exercised. My understanding is that, yeah, he's wanting all of this money, but there's a big difference. When Cody originally joined AEW, he was the guy. Now there's Keith Lee, there's Daniel Bryan, there is Adam Cole, there is now elevated talent in the likes of Hangman Page, there's Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho still around. I think that Tony Khan just finally saw Cody as expendable based on the dollars that he was asking for. And now we are starting to realize that the veil of this, like, everybody is welcome in AEW, we want to give everyone work. No, now it's a business. I mean, it's always been a business, but now we're going to start seeing the business decisions. We are now seeing a company that is hitting a stride of maturity. And when it comes to being a mature, well-known, established brand, you need to be fiscally smart, fiscally conservative. You can't be throwing money for unnecessary reasons. And personally, if Cody wanted to be the top paid guy in AEW, that would have been a colossal waste of money because he wouldn't have been the main draw. I don't think he's a top 5 draw anymore in AEW. As much as I love Cody Rhodes, I do not believe that he's a top 5 draw anymore based on the signings that they've brought in over the last 2 years.
I agree with you on that side, that sense, because you just see it from the fan reaction every time Cody's out there. With the AEW matches that he puts on mid card, they want nothing to do with him. Like, even like when he was against Sammy Guevara in that unification match, everything he did, he couldn't put over. It was Sammy leading that match. The fans were 100% behind him. And really, like, let's think about it. Sammy Guevara is one of the hottest things in AEW right now. Just put on an incredible match this evening against Darby Allin, and if you saw it, the crowd was 100% behind both those guys, up and comers, like you're saying. I agree. Cody Rhodes on the AEW roster doesn't even fit in my top 10. I think he did what he needed to do for that business and really solidify what professional wrestling is again. And that's the key difference that we've already spoken about between WWE, which is sports entertainment, and what AEW is professional wrestling. If you guys haven't seen that conversation, go back and check that on the YouTube channel, WWE versus AEW. And we really like hit the nail on the head with all of this. Cody is no longer going to be an effective utility for Tony Khan. And another thing that I've been reading is that Brandy Rhodes was not well liked. Not well liked in the back, not well liked by talent. So maybe this is going to be beneficial for both parties, because I see it going horribly if he had stayed.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. There are, I guess, conflicting interests when it comes to the likes of Cody Rhodes heading over to potentially NBC in the USA Network or Fox with SmackDown, because he still has 2 marquee shows over on Ted Turner's network. I think TNT, right? He has the Go Big show, I think it's called, where he's like one of the hosts or MC, and then he also has the reality show with Brandy. So all of that was garnered because of the AEW deal, right? Like AEW is already on TNT, it's on TBS. It makes sense to pick up shows with, you know, famous wrestlers from that particular brand. But now if he goes over to WWE, are we expecting WWE to be okay with him having shows where he is going to be, like it or not, known as a WWE wrestler, but appearing on rival networks that WWE has no affiliation with, and shows that WWE has no affiliation with?
Yeah, I think that's going to be all part of the package if they do decide to sign him. I don't see Vince ever being okay with having someone on another network.
They weren't even okay with people being on Twitch.
Exactly.
Right?
So if you're not okay with a wrestler doing their own thing on Twitch and going by their own name and breaking down that fourth wall, how are you going to be okay with Ted Turner still drawing money from one of your guys? So I have a feeling it'll be like we'll see like a Miz and Maurice thing where Cody and Brandy, if WWE see the value in it, they're just going to buy the show and transfer it over to the other network for like the next season. If they see the value, or the season runs out and that show gets canceled.
Right.
I don't see Vince allowing Ted Turner to draw any money from Vince's pocket.
Right.
Per se.
All right. Well, let's talk about the reports that he is going to WWE. For the sake of this conversation, let's pretend that it's basically a foregone conclusion. Who's he feuding with at WrestleMania?
You know what? I think I just named it. The way they come in, and normally where they draw someone big back, there's two ways they're going to do it. They have a random, because I think that feud between Rey and Miz is going no further than Elimination Chamber. So the Miz doesn't have really much to do at Mania. And I can see, like the Miz and Maurice, Cody and Brandy, you know what, to get his feet wet. It's a rivalry that's going to last to Mania, build it up. I think that could actually be Miz is a great worker.
Yeah.
Cody's a great worker. Miz has put on quite good matches in the last couple of years. I can see it being Miz. Or does WWE dig deep and bring back the franchise to, say the X franchise of AEW, if they want to acknowledge it, and bring back John, big match John, for a Mania match and see what happens there. I don't see it being Seth. I don't see it being anyone of significance.
Not yet, at least, right?
McIntyre.
I don't know. Like, it's so weird. Like, I get the whole, like, he's coming to WWE, but is it just me that he just seems like he'd be a sore thumb there? I don't think that he's a good fit there. I hope I'm wrong. I want to see him succeed and I want to see them do well. Mm-hmm. But I look at the landscape of WWE and it's not as if like they're jam-packed with talent right now. I mean all you have to do is look at the Royal Rumble and how pitiful for talent it was. But like for a main draw show at a WrestleMania, like I can't really see it being anything beyond maybe somebody that isn't in a program right now, like Edge, AJ Styles, like you said, Miz and Maurice, which I think would be great. My understanding is that Brandy Rhodes wants to get back in the ring, and I don't particularly get excited over that, but I'd be okay with a Cody Rhodes and Maurice feud. But is WWE really going to pay top dollar to bring in a guy to just feud with the Miz?
Well, here's one I was just thinking while you were talking. And you're talking about someone with no programming going into Mania, and Austin Theory.
That'd be fun. Remember what I was saying? Like some younger guys that need some awesome matches.
Because unless they are going to try and completely ruin what we think the main event of Mania is going to be, which is going to be a potential title with Brock and Roman. That's the only thing for me that makes sense. The way they've built everything for the last 4 months. Unless they are going to somehow do the craziest thing like a Maven Undertaker at the Rumble and Theory eliminates Brock, then Theory's got nothing at Mania. Because if Theory eliminates Brock, it's going to be Theory Brock at Mania for some stupid programming. But if it goes the way it should, Austin Theory has nothing. So Austin Theory could really launch his career with a good feud on the mic and in the ring back to back with Cody Rhodes. I truly believe that. Look at the likes of the match with Sammy Guevara, and minus Austin Theory's size, I see a lot of similarities between those two wrestlers.
For sure. Yeah. I think we've kind of rinsed and dried this topic quite a bit, but I mean, I'm up for it. I'm skeptical, like I'm not like completely sold on it, but like I'm in. Like if this is the direction that things are gonna go, like I will get on board with the ride, but like I don't know if like I'm sold on this yet. So we'll see, and I'm assuming he's gonna be coming back in as a face because the charitable work that he's doing. If he doesn't want to give that up, like I think I'd be a hypocrite if I said, yo, you need to turn face. Meanwhile, I'm the one that defended John Cena for never turning heel. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna let time determine how I feel about this. I'm lukewarm to the idea of Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE.
My next question to you to end it was, are you even remotely excited, or are you going to have to really take your time to digest it maybe for another week?
I think I'm excited in the sense that this is just ruffling feathers and creating interesting drama and news in the industry. Yeah. But I think like it's the end result of when he's actually in WWE that is what I'm not yet excited about.
Yeah, okay.
I like all the rustling of the jimmies. AEW fans now saying that he's trash, that he sucks, that he was no good at AEW. Is like, of course. I mean, now that he's gone, now you want to air that out. Let's not forget that he was one of the reasons AEW is even a thing. But
yeah, exactly.
But I digress. Wrestling fans suck sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next topic here. I'm sure you are excited about this, but I'm sure you're probably a little bit skeptical as well. We might be getting the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin after 19 years in retirement, when his last match being against The Rock at WrestleMania 19 in early 2003. What the hell? This sounds like something out of like Create manager mode in WWE 2K. This doesn't seem real, but I guess if we've I was gonna say this is the perfect storm. We're in Texas, but Mania 32 was in Texas, and that was the most attended WrestleMania of all time. That's the biggest ticket draw of all time. Why now? I've heard the reports that he's had a ring built at his ranch and his house, and he's been practicing and training over the last several months. So everything seems to be saying that this is legit. This is just random as hell, though.
So I got a report up here from 15 hours ago from PW Insider and Wrestling News. This is legit. Like, this is my childhood is coming back to me, Santi. Like, I grew up in the 90s. Wrestling was my thing in the 90s. I am as excited, yet I was so happy on March 17th, 2003 with that Rock Austin match where, you know what, he rode off into the sunset like a good Texas cowboy does. And I was okay with that. As much as we didn't want to see Austin retire at that point, I am very concerned about this. And we won't get into potential feud or whoever he'll be facing since it's probably clear anyways. But before we came onto the air, I watched the announcement for the next Broken Skull session. And that's with Ron Simmons. Stone Cold Steve Austin is in no shape. He is not the Steve Austin that we remember. He's still the beer swigging, bad attitude, ass kicking son of a bitch. But it's not the same. And anyone who gets excited for this and believe that this is going to be the WrestleMania moment that either person deserves, I would prefer that New Day segment from Texas a couple of years ago. You know what? All Austin needs to do is let the glass smash. The pop comes out, come out, stun someone, drink beer, and go home. I love Stone Cold. By far, my top 2 favorite wrestlers of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't think this match makes sense, and it pains me to say that. It really does.
Steve, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. How would you feel about a Forrest Gump 2?
Absolutely not. It makes no sense like the Titanic 2 that's coming out next year. Come on.
If they decided to come out with Shawshank Redemption 2, I'd be excited, but also I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
This is not no. What was wrong with the end of the original Shawshank? This is kind of how I feel. Yeah. It's one of those situations where like, cool. This is cool. Do we need this? No. Do I want this? Sorta. Yeah, because it's Stone Cold. I'm never going to turn that down. Yeah. But okay, so here's where I want to take the conversation. Let's say he's got a match. Let's say it's Kevin Owens. What do you want to see, Steve? Do you want to see either A, do you want to see a Undertaker versus John Cena, a quick squash match at WrestleMania? Or do you want to see Undertaker versus Goldberg, an actual attempt at a match that ended up horribly? Like, do you want to see an actual match? Like, do you want something tangible that's over 5 minutes? Or do you want Stone Cold bell rings done in 2 minutes? What are you thinking here?
This is me. I struggle with that question and this whole scenario because, one, if we are talking Kevin Owens, I am so over on Kevin Owens and what he is doing right now and just this negative attitude that their base creatives just letting him be Kevin Owens, which is great. A squash match on Kevin Owens right now hurts Kevin Owens. I truly believe that. A full match where you could potentially, for one, re-injure Austin and his neck, which we all know it's why he retired. His knees are shot as well. We could end up getting a Saudi Arabia Undertaker Goldberg match where somebody potentially gets very injured, and that would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Can we get a happy middle? Both of them come out, because there's no way creative's going to allow KO to powerbomb him on the corner of the ring.
Yeah.
So that takes that. Maybe the barrel roll into the corner. Maybe you got to think of what KO brings to a match. He's a brawler. He's very much like Austin, but his stuff is way more aggressive. So you have to eliminate half of his moveset. So basically, you're going to go stunner for stunner. So basically, we're getting Roman versus Goldberg.
Yeah, but this is Stone Cold.
This is Stone Cold.
This is Stone Cold.
This is Stone Cold. We're going to get like the nostalgia 6-minute crowd doesn't stop, right? Everything Owens does is going to get booed out of the arena. When he attempts the stunner, and I'm sure Austin will let him use it, so he's going to hit a stunner, Owens is going to get booed out of Texas. So, and this is going to be a John Cena calling out Taker, working the I hate Texas, just like the promo he cut on Monday. And it's going to be Owens coming down to the ring, standing there cutting a promo, heating the crowd up. Glass is going to smash. Austin's going to come out. They're going to do a match. I would prefer 7 to 10 minutes, and then Austin has a beer bash for another 5. I'm okay with that. But it can't be a squash because it's going to hurt Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
What about you, Santi? What do you think?
I mean, I think I think you're right. Like, but I'm also thinking that the only way to make this safe is a squash. Then again, I mean, I don't know Stone Cold. I don't know if he maybe really is going to be in amazing shape. Maybe he goes on a 3-month cycle of steroids and gets in a fantastic shape and will feel like the youngest version of himself. I don't know. Like, I don't want to make the assumptions that he can't go in the ring. But what I will say is that I don't need him to do much. I need him to go out there, give me a hell yeah, give me some middle fingers if they'll allow him to do it. Shake his head over Owens' motionless body, and hit a couple stunners, and I'm happy. Like, I don't need much from Stone Cold. I would prefer for a match or a situation that protects him and protects his legacy as much as possible. This is a man that went out the traditional wrestling way, going out on your back, putting somebody over, and he didn't come back. The guys who have done that came back and ruined their legacy.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels with that terrible Saudi Arabia match, Kurt Angle with that terrible match with Baron Corbin. I've seen it all too much, and I frankly just I fear that we could ruin Forrest Gump by bringing in a Forrest Gump 2 for no reason. But we'll see. Again, glass breaks. I'm probably gonna forget all these criticisms, and I'm just gonna get super excited. So
I'll tell you, that TikTok live at Mania is going to be insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of TikTok live, we are going to be doing a TikTok live during the Elimination Chamber. So why don't we transition and talk about the the Elimination Chamber taking place in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we have a pretty decent card here, which has seemed to become more so the norm, rather the exception for these Saudi shows, where they just have fantastic cards. And again, I don't know how to feel about that, because I'm still a little unsure about all of, I mean, ethically what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And the abomination that has been some of the previous shows, like Goldberg beating The Fiend for no reason, Goldberg almost killing The Undertaker. Well, I'm saying Goldberg a lot, and by the way, he's in this card. So Steve, I'm gonna run through the match card, and we can just have a brief discussion about each match and discuss potential winners. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good, my dude.
All right, so first we've got a feud that just sort of popped up out of nowhere. We've got Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. What are you thinking here?
I think this is going to be an actual Miz victory. This also goes into what I said before about Miz not having anything to do at Mania. I truly believe this is going to be Dominic's coming out party. This is going to be Miz going over on Rey, and they build this to Mania with it going to be something to do with Miz versus Dominic. So I think this is going to be Miz with some tomfoolery from Maurice, and I think this is going to be a Miz victory. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm calling the Miz as well. Find it interesting that the match card has Rey Mysterio brackets with Dominic, and then the Miz in brackets with Maurice. I mean, we know that women in Saudi Arabia is already a bit of a it's a hot button topic. Like, if you watch the women's wrestling, like, they have to wear like basically from neck to toes, they have to be completely covered. You would think that like you would just keep somebody like Maurice out just so that they don't have to go through all of that. But I mean, again, I guess I'm for it if for more female representation in Saudi Arabia, but let's not gloss over the fact that, you know, they are still not being treated equal. Guys can go out there in complete spandex and then the women have to be completely covered. Again, cultural difference, but I'm still kind of against that.
You can say, though, they are making progress. I do feel this is the most, I think, the most women on a Saudi card ever.
It's gotta be, right?
Like, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 women featured in this entire card. That's half the card.
I mean, let's talk about another women's match here. So we've got Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville.
Santi, I hate this whole storyline.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
They've been pushing this Naomi. I love Sonya Deville, by the way. I think the work she's doing as a administrator or whatever they're calling her in the back with Adam Pearce. I love that story. I love that. I don't know why. It just works. But this whole Naomi Sonya storyline just doesn't make sense to me.
It's so random. It started out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just like the boss that wants to like hate on the one person that always stands by the coffee machine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't understand. This match for me makes absolutely no sense. If I had to pick, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Ronda Naomi going over. Just because I don't see Ronda Rousey losing on a big stage like this. What about you?
No, I'm the same way. I think you just gotta keep Ronda hot. It'll be Ronda pinning Sonya Deville. I'm pretty confident that that's how it's gonna go. If it's gonna go the other way around, it's gonna be Charlotte pinning Naomi.
Yeah.
Neither Ronda nor Charlotte will be taking a pin here. All right. I mean, let's keep it rolling with the ladies here. We've got the women's elimination chamber match for a WWE Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. So we're gonna have WrestleMania implications with this match, and we've got Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Doudrop, Nikki ASH, and Alexa Bliss. For the most part, that's a pretty banging group of ladies that are going to be putting on a heck of a match. And I personally love the fact that I don't know who's going to win this. It could be Alexa. Rhea Ripley was super hot on the last episode of Monday Night Raw, lasting the longest in the Gauntlet match. And I'm just going to plant the seeds here. That's how Kofi Mania started. And then it led into a fantastic performance in the Elimination Chamber. So just keep that in the back of your head. We've got Liv Morgan, who is hot with the fans. We've got Bianca Belair, who's hot with the back, right? And then Alexa Bliss, who is Alexa Bliss. I mean, I don't really have much to say there. Alexa Bliss is Alexa Bliss. You always have to consider her. I don't know who's going to win this. I have no idea.
If you had to pick someone, because I got a little bit on this match. So
yeah, you know what? If I have to pick somebody, I'm gonna go a little. I'm still gonna go Liv Morgan. I love Liv Morgan and I want to see it, but I think that's more of a preference pick than I guess like a strategic pick.
Yeah. For myself, this is probably, I think, no disrespect to Nikki ASH, ex-female women's champion. I think it's the only person in this match that I'd be like, why? Maybe because of this feud with Rhea that, again, doesn't make sense. Like, they were ex-tag champions, they broke up, whatever. Why are we dragging this out? I love Liv Morgan too. I really do. She's hot with the fans. I think she deserves her WrestleMania moment. I don't know if it's this year or next year in LA, but she's put in a lot of work, a lot of miles, and I can see her winning this. I'm just so happy Alexa's back. I think Alexa is hot with the back. She's hot with the crowd. She's over just everywhere. And this whole build-up, I don't understand why they would do like a 4-week segment of therapy to just have have her get squashed in the chamber. So there's something here that we don't know that creative's really not letting us see, but I want to pick Alexa. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bianca, but I'm just going to go with Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss, okay. All right, here's your bathroom break. Drew McIntyre versus who the frig is Madcap Moss? I know who he is, but like why is he on this card, man? Why?
I don't know why this match is on this card. Hold on, is Corbin injured?
I have no idea.
We have had Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss, I think 4 times in the last 2 months on SmackDown. Why is this even on a chamber card? Why is it not Corbin versus McIntyre? Or just put the band back together and get Sheamus and, you know,
make it a tag team match or something. This is WWE like velocity quality. I don't want to see this. I'm not interested at all. I love Drew McIntyre. Dude, he needs to be putting better things than facing Madcap Moss.
And the worst part is I'm saying Madcap.
You're saying over. Madcap? You're saying some tomfoolery? I'm just gonna go McIntyre here. I'll keep it clean. I'll play devil's advocate. You know what? Let me skip this one for now. We'll talk about that one later. So we've got the Usos versus the Viking Raiders, and this is for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I can't see the Usos losing.
No. There's no way that even though they are building Saudi Arabia to be almost like a secondary WrestleMania, there is absolutely, with how hot Roman is, there's no way that the bloodline goes to Saudi Arabia and loses gold. The kingdom of gold.
Yeah.
They're not losing gold.
The only way I see this happening, and the only way I could get on board, is if they lose in a way that builds to Brock versus Roman. Like Brock goes out there and squashes them both while the ref is out, and then the Viking Raiders pick up the win. I think that would be, at the very least, story-wise, it would make sense story-wise. But aside from that, like, if they're going to keep it a clean match, the Usos are winning.
One's all day.
All right, let's move on to the women's main event. We've got Becky Lynch versus the returning Lita for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. What do you think?
Santi, I hate this storyline. I hate how they're making Becky look pitiful. Becky is so strong as a women's champion. She's basically been on TV for the last 3 years, minus her hiatus, with the title in her arms. I was reading a report. WWE has nothing for Lita after the Elimination Chamber, even though on SmackDown she says she wants to make this a final run. Becky Lynch is going to win this match. It might be her, lying, cheating, and stealing. No pun intended for the shirt. But it's going to be Becky, and I just want this storyline to be over so we can actually get some good creative and hopefully get, a Liv Morgan Becky match like it's been teased for the last 18 months. I do not want to see Bianca Belair and Becky again. It's been done. If Bianca's going to win the title, let her win it at SummerSlam or something. But I would love to see Liv, Rhea, Alexa. Just give us something good at Mania. But Becky's going over on this. You?
Yeah. I've got Becky. I think it's cool to have Lita back for a match. But that's all we need. We don't need Lita carrying the title here. So I'm totally with you on that one. So let me have I'll carry the reins here for a little bit. So we've got the men's elimination chamber match. We've got Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. For some reason, Austin Theory. I'm still confused about this one, but I mean, I like the kid. Riddle and AJ Styles. I've been looking back at the history of the Elimination Chamber, and maybe with the exception of the very first Elimination Chamber that had Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kane, Rob Van Dam, Chris Jericho. I think there might be somebody else that I'm forgetting, but with the exception of maybe that one, this might be the most star-studded Elimination Chamber match I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that because you just ran off like the guys in the first chamber match, and who doesn't fit in there? If you just think about it back then, for me, RVD does not fit in that match because of where the storyline was with him back then. There wasn't much going on for RVD. It was kind of like he was thrown in. Austin Theory for me is the RVD of this match. Doesn't belong there. Why not throw in KO? Throw in Randy. You know, it would be a great way to build a story for Riddle Randy at Mania for something. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand what WWE's thing about Austin Theory is. Whatever. But this is a stacked men's chamber. And I'm looking forward to every second. There's going to be carnage with Bobby and Brock in there. Somebody's going through some plexi, and it's going to be a nasty crunch. I'm looking forward to that. Who do you got as the winner?
I want to keep it simple. I want to keep this title on Bobby. I do think that we are going to get shenanigans again with Roman Reigns costing Brock Lesnar the title, a la how like Shawn Michaels snuck into the chamber to Sweet Chin Music The Undertaker to set them up for WrestleMania. I think we're going to get something like that. But, you know, like if you told me that AJ Styles is going to come away with the title, I would say, okay, I'm all in. If you told me that Seth freaking Rollins is coming out of this with the title, I would say, take my money. I'm okay. Yes. I'm all in. Hell, dude, if you told me that Theory or Riddle are coming out with the title, I'm interested. This could be fun. That's different. Any result, anybody who wins here, I think could be good. I want to keep the status quo. I don't want to see a major title change in Saudi Arabia again. I want to keep this on Bobby. And if it's shenanigans, whatever it may be, that's par for the course. I just want to see Bobby Lashley win, and I want to see Theory put in some Iron Man work in here. I want to see this kid earn his spot there. Like, why are you in this spotlight with everyone? I want you to show the world what you're capable of doing when you're put in the ring with names like these.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, especially on the Theory side of things. I'm still confused why he's in this match. I'm not sold on the kid yet, especially after what happened on Monday night where he was supposed to jump Brock, and it kind of just looked like he leapfrogged him, and Brock was like, okay, like, I guess I'll just work for this because you botched this. I don't. Anyways, if Theory did win, again, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this? And is Theory gonna feud with Brock and Bobby at Mania? Like, oh, okay, strange, but okay. I know you said you don't want to see a title change, but the title change doesn't. What's the next pay-per-view?
I think it's Fastlane. Yes.
I don't see Fastlane showing any title changes.
Yeah, I don't either.
Of significance. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in Saudi, and it's going to be Brock, because everything's been teased Brock Roman. So I also would like to see Bobby keep this and not have a title for title match, even though that puts Roman so far up the echelon of greatness. If he wins, like, it's insane. But I'm gonna say Brock Lesnar wins this match.
Okay. All right. I mean, you've been talking Roman Reigns. Let's talk Roman Reigns. The main event of the show. No, actually, I'd say that Elimination Chamber match is the main event of the show. Co-main event of the show: Roman Reigns versus Goldberg for I almost said Oldberg for the WWE Universal Championship. Oh my God. Why? If we have any Saudi fans that watch this show, why do you guys like Goldberg so much? And why do you guys keep paying for Goldberg to have high key profile matches at your Saudi shows? I get the nostalgia love, But the nostalgia love for Goldberg, by the way, is WCW nostalgia. It's not WWE nostalgia. I'm not saying that there isn't a place for that. But I'm just saying that like it shouldn't be this holy grail that you want to experience every time that you're in Saudi Arabia. Let's just look back at the resume real quick of Mr. Goldberg over the last couple Saudi shows. So we've got, of course, him squashing The Fiend. Did you love that, Steve?
I'm still having nightmares from that.
God, I hated it. Everyone hated it. Did you love watching him almost murder The Undertaker?
No, I think that's one of those matches that you just want to pretend never happened.
Cool. Well, apparently every Saudi prince loved it because they just keep throwing money at Goldberg to bring him back to every Saudi show. And I don't understand. To be fair, if a Goldberg match is going to be good, it's going to be with a bruiser like Roman Reigns. Similar skill sets, similar finishers with the spear. Please do not allow Goldberg to try and jackhammer Roman Reigns. Please, can we just ban the jackhammer from Goldberg? He shouldn't be doing this move anymore. I've got Roman Reigns winning. I hate this match. I hate what it stands for. I just don't like Goldberg anymore. I'm done with that man. Just
thank goodness it's his last match on his contract.
Because we hope. If it wasn't, man, if he had one more match, I think that there's a 50% chance that Goldberg wins, because nobody thought that The Fiend was going to lose, and boom, he loses to Goldberg. But knowing that there is no additional match beyond this for Goldberg on his WWE contract puts me at ease that they're not going to do something incredibly colossally stupid like putting the title on Goldberg again at a Saudi show.
Yeah, and then potentially having a Goldberg run all the way to Mania. Yeah, no. Roman Reigns. Okay, I always yell at WWE once in a podcast, and I'm going to say this very clear, and I'm going to look dead in the camera for this. WWE, I never liked Roman Reigns. He is the hottest thing in the business right now, and you have done a great job. Good for you. Do not, for the love of God, ruin this title run of Roman Reigns to give it to Goldberg for 8 weeks. Please,
for the love of God. Yeah, I mean, that's the match card. I mean, in terms of WrestleMania implications, I mean, there's a few here coming through with the women's match. You know, we talked about the likelihood of it most likely being Bianca Belair going into WrestleMania. We've got the WrestleMania implications from the men's Elimination Chamber match. But do you see anything else in here that could maybe build to something bigger at WrestleMania? Or are we looking at a lot of these feuds and matches kind of just ending here and starting anew next week on Raw?
I'm gonna say, just like realist, like this is basic what we've seen, like what we've talked about already. The only surprise I can see, every time Roman has a big match, someone from the past comes out, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but God, The Rock has been teased for so long, and the Saudis pay a lot of damn money. Could Roman go over, stand up, raise that title, and The Rock's music hits, and we all know what Mania is then?
Yeah.
In Dallas, it'll be a bigger crowd than last time. And imagine a WrestleMania with Austin and The Rock both on the card.
Dude.
My dude, I'm buying tickets and I'm going.
Yeah, I think I might be in that same flight with you because oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I love your enthusiasm and your make believe scenarios, but please, I want that. I want all of that. I want all of that, and I want it more, and I want it, and I want it, and I want it, and I want it at WrestleMania. Are we gonna get that? I doubt it. No. But that being said, yeah, I mean, in terms of WrestleMania buildups and implications, I'm kind of okay if nothing happens on the show like that. I think I'd almost rather see it play out on television, on free television, and have it start this Monday night.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm pretty sure we covered it, but I see no surprises, and let's just start fresh Monday. And
hey, Cody Rhodes at the Saudi show.
The Saudis aren't paying that much for Cody Rhodes. If Tony Khan's not paying it, if Tony Khan's not paying it, they're not paying it either, bro.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, let's finish it there. I think that was a great podcast. Steve, thank you very much. Where can people find you?
Guys, we're just going to keep it simple. Find me over at the TikTok, Straight Shoot. And also just find me on twitch.tv/Mr. Tesh. And Santi, what about yourself?
Same thing over on the TikTok at Straight Shoot. And as well, my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Santi Zap. You can go ahead and follow me there. We're doing a bunch of awesome games, and my stream is a lot of fun. What do you got there, Steve?
Final thing, guys, do not forget, we are giving away a WWE United States Championship with the Straight Shoot logo already imprinted. We are giving it away the week before WrestleMania. All you have to do to enter in is go over to, well, this YouTube channel and obviously subscribe and leave a comment on this video and every other video leading into Mania.
That's it. Nice and simple. All right, folks, thank you very much for spending this hour talking wrestling with us. We love you. We'll see you over on TikTok. We'll see you next week, and take care. Goodbye.